All right, we're live. We're here. We're ready to go, boys. All right, folks, hello, and welcome back to the Regulators for another week. Looks like it might be interesting. Steve Guerin's here, steam-driven media and avid house builder. Addicted house builder. Frustrated house builder.
Tired house builder.
I was tired house builder, yeah. And Terry Van Horn, SEO Pros, SEO Dojo. How's it going, buddy?
Good.
Good, good. How are we this week? Getting more sleep and shit?
Getting caught up.
To start. Well, you know, I guess the easiest place to start, of course, will be our what we were talking about this morning. Seems to be making the rounds, and I know Steve is waiting for the bandwagon still. So, all right.
I don't know which one to jump on.
That was my favorite comment. That was my favorite comment so far, Terry. Steve put that in the Facebook Dojo group. He goes, "Okay, wait, I'm confused. Do we like it or don't we like it? I want to know which bandwagon I'm supposed to jump on." And yeah, it'll be interesting because I put it in a couple of groups, so we'll see how this plays out today. So very interestingly, I don't know. Some people are giving him a hard time. Anyways, I don't know. Is there any way to quickly throw a synopsis on this? All right. All right, I guess I should grab this fella's name first. What did anyone know his name off the top of your heads? I'd have to scroll.
It was
Josh.
a hard one to.
Yeah, Bashinsky, I think. Josh Bashinsky would be his name.
Kinski.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll go with it. Anyway, so let's see. He went on an extremely long diatribe about the morality, I guess, Steve, of Google's responsibility to the internet. He wove in some penalty treatments and things like that to make various points. But I guess the underlying thing was some sort of private conversation about the morality of Google's position on certain things. So do we know what's a bandwagon we're on yet?
I don't know. I mean, the whole article doesn't read any different than anything we've been saying for the last few months. Especially when it comes to what Google refers to as edge cases.
Yeah, I like that he called it collateral damage. I was like, well, there you go. That's a much better name for it.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's collateral damage.
Well, false positives, I think they call it sometimes in the IRL world. But same shit. Yeah.
And while, you know, like I've said before, the number of those cases may be small, but for the people it happens to, it's significant. And if you're going to be a do no evil company, your edge cases have to be on the other side of that line. You have to not touch some of the bad guys.
Right. Yeah, exactly. As opposed to punishing the ones that you're not sure about. No, go the other way and don't.
Yes.
And play the safer route and not crush someone's fucking.
And that's how you're not evil. I mean, you look at all these different collateral damage or, you know, accidental damage analogies, and it gets crazy. I mean, you know, collateral damage has always been considered a very bad thing until Google showed up, in which case it's everyday process. You know, it's one of those things you try very hard to avoid in the real world.
Yeah. Again, I don't think we could say it enough times that as far as we seem to consider it, at least for myself, that you know, the whole punishment routine and how you're affecting people. Again, like we were saying before the show, Steve, like penguin, 6 months? Come on. Yeah. You're going to punish someone and then tell them you got 1 or 2 chances a year. We're not going to tell you when
well,
to fix the problem.
I mean, it's like, okay, the penguin update, we know when it rolls out. It's kind of obvious. And I know of at least 3 or 4 guys who wait for that day. And the day after penguin rolls, they get going, and they go hard.
And that's it. You know, if this is supposedly for fighting spam, I don't think it's going to have the desired effect because, like you're saying, the spammers are waiting for that day to push the button, right?
But
So
hey, look,
spam, I got 6 months to make some money. Let's go.
Wow.
Exactly.
It's becoming a bit like the Google dance. I used to see people who did some stuff that was timed to go over to use the Google dances to. That was back in the linking days. If the way they're doing things, you can almost take the dates now and overlay them, and they're fucking hitting right on. Like,
yeah.
So if I'm someone who's into pushing the envelopes, I push the envelope for 6 months, and disavow for 2 months. You know,
if you disavow it all, because
I'm saying it, Dave. Whoops, sorry to cut you off, Steve. I'm only saying this because I want to be the first to say it. Isn't that how you get the glory?
well, I mean, the thing is, you know, that's not even saying that you get caught the first time through on Penguin.
Right. You won't get caught at all if you've disavowed all those links when they come by, Steve. Like,
Who better to disavow than the guy that got them?
right. And it's real easy because you know where they are. You don't have to look at them. You don't have to review them. When you drop the content, you mark it. Disavow this date. Boom. I mean, this is the way they're doing things is like put a blueprint on it because it's going to hit the fan after this. You know why? Because guest blogging is going to be in the next update, and a lot of people are going to get hit. There's going to be a lot.
Again, it was guest blogging was in the last Penguin as well, but like you're saying, it's probably going to be tweaked to hell by now. So.
Oh yeah, once it goes manual penalty, Dave, they up. You know, the threshold comes down on the Penguin. You got to believe that. So I figure we're going to get real busy about the end of May.
Yay, more work.
More words.
But yeah, and again, the straight up spammers are just churn and burning. Now they even have a schedule, right? You know, it's like, oh, we know when to have our sites ready for. Like Steve's saying, the churn and burners are just sitting there waiting for that day now. You know, and then bury those domains, get the next ones fired up. They've got the sites built, ready to go, right? So it's going to be, which of course brings us to the question: when is the next Penguin? Is
May 23rd. The one after that'll be the first Friday in October, if everything goes as it has in the past. They're hitting within days of one another, Dave. So it's, and the fact that it's probably programmatic means there's Google's footprint right there.
There's our awesome poster. So yeah, I'd say we got a May 23rd on our guesses. We got someone seems to see Barry's going for the UK holiday. Let's see. Laura's going with just before SMX. We got Doc Shelton going with the 30th of June.
Way too long.
Jim Boykin's in here. Jim's going with May 2nd to 8:30 EST. Boy, Jimmy. And of course, Grant Simmons being cheeky, let us know that World Penguin Day was last week. Oh, this week apparently. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know, Terry. It's got to be a Friday weekend, you know. Well, you got any upcoming holiday weekends, Steve, down there in the States?
Mother's Day's coming up.
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Give your mom the gift of unemployment.
That's awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
They don't have a long weekend, May 24th, Steve?
No, that's the Queen's fucking birthday or whatever up there, isn't it?
We've got a Memorial Day coming up at the end of May as well, the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those two holidays coincide, Dave.
Yeah, the Canada-U.S. one.
Memorial Day's on the 28th.
Oh, it's the last weekend, Steve?
Last Monday in May.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to figure it's entirely possibly around there, man. Did you do the math, Terry? Did you do the math? Did you track that last one and go ahead 6 months? I didn't even. What was it? When was it? October what? Something.
October 4th.
I think.
And the one in 2012 occurred on October 5th.
Is that when it was?
Yeah. So they were within a day of one another. If you look at it, each one is scheduled to go on a Friday, which we picked that up. We picked that up pretty quick, that they were running all these updates on the weekends, or a lot of them because that's how they were hiding the traffic down on people. Think it's normal that they go down on a weekend.
In our Q&A, Mark Traphagen was saying he's going with Jim's Boycott approach, so he's going May 2nd at 8:29. Sorry, Mark, you didn't put ESD PDT. We don't, we can't qualify here.
We can't go.
We should give away a Dojo sweatshirt or something here. Whoever gets it right.
It'll be like a pool, eh? Put your time in, and whoever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, put a day at least, And,
day and time. Well, we'll have so many people come, Dave. We'll need it down to the second.
And obviously, we'll have to depend on Webmaster World to tell us what time it was. So.
Yeah, when.
Yeah. All right.
The first report of it in Webmaster World will be when we do our turn. We'll do our time. Oh no, that'll probably be wrong. So.
No. Isn't it when Danny or Barry posts about it? Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, that's when it is.
It does look like
Oh, it's true.
Yeah. So Matt, Danny, or Barry has to post about it for the official time. Right? So.
I sure will all know about it. I got a feeling it's going to be really nasty. I'm figuring it'll be one of those, Dave, that's over 11% of SERPs affected.
We shall see.
See how they all of SEO all of a sudden wanted to do guest blogging. I mean, you got to be pretty slow not to think that there's going to be a lot of people here.
Which we'll get back to, I guess, with the Herald story shortly. Let's see, just a quickie here, Terry. You picked up some changes to the Google's Webmaster guidelines. Sneaky redirection always. Go ahead.
Yeah, they've added some examples. I guess the main thing is I think they gave a little bit more information about what to watch for mobile users.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Watch your mobile sites. But they've been really watching the pages that come up on your mobile site. Google have really been watching them as far as the quality of those pages, etc.
You see much of this, Steve? Like, I know user agent type's always been popular with the hacked sites, kind of spam and stuff like that. I haven't really noticed that on mobile, but apparently it's been happening. I guess that's why they've added this.
I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah, me neither. Not seen much of it in the wild, so I guess it's out there. And then I guess the other one is, what is hacking or hacked content? And again, I guess it's looks like it's user agent redirects and stuff of that nature. So, not unexpected. All right.
Yeah, that one there, I've actually seen that, where the only way I could find the injection was to I found it on Google somehow, but when you went to check to see what was happening, when you checked it with Googlebot, it did not show the injected link. I forget where I picked it up in the search somehow, looking through a bunch of them. Kind of weird.
Well, I think it was the malware guy, Steve, wasn't it, that used to do that a lot? Like, you could go straight to the site and the page would be normal, but if you accessed it through Google, bingo bongo,
Mm-hmm.
So it was dependent on the refer.
Yep. Poor man's cloaking.
Yeah. So I guess we might as well hit the Herald thing before we go anywhere. Seems to also be making the rounds this week. Where is it? Who was that? Was Bill, wasn't it?
Awesome examples of bad links, Dave.
Man, did I even put that one in? Oh yeah, here we go. So okay, so the story goes. It's Bill Hartzer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill was saying that they use the Herald, which for people who don't know what that is, it's helpful reporter out. What it does is essentially you get updates every day in your inbox of different reporters and bloggers or whoever that's looking for quotes from so on and so on. And you apply for them, and if you get accepted, you get to be quoted in some article or what the hell ever. Now, unlike any other kind of scheme, which apparently everything's a scheme now, there's no such thing as requiring a link, or no one says they'll give you a link. If the reporter decides to editorially give you one, followed or not, is up to them.
Right.
I've never seen any stipulations otherwise, as we'd see with the... Anyways. So he was doing a recon request, and he got back some examples, which is what they do. And a couple of the links were on sites that they had gotten quoted on various websites because of their connection to Herald. Anyways, I don't think that Herald's in any way attached to it personally, like meaning that Google's crawling it. I just think it was the location where they were. But I guess the other part of this too is that they were brand links that the person decided to do, as opposed to keyword targeted. So that's a little bizarre and strange. But okay, and Bill updated here, Terry, as I was telling you, that however, upon further investigation, it appears that the sites in particular where our links appeared were doing fishy or spammy things in regards to interlinking and duplicating of the content and articles, so that I do believe that our client has been caught up in this, being innocently penalized. Innocently, I love that. And again, I guess, Steve, this one goes both ways.
Comes right back down to the edge cases again.
Yeah.
I mean, this person could be completely and totally innocent here. Did they just get on Haro and got interviewed or gave a statement? Next thing they know, their website's being linked to from a site that's less than desirable by Google, and now they're being penalized.
So the person they gave the interview to posted on a bad site.
Yeah.
So in other words, they didn't vet the journalist either.
But you don't know what a bad site is, and you don't always know where the journalist is going to post. And we without knowing what the websites are, we don't even know whether or not the links or the links that Google used as an example are legitimate examples. Because I've had Google go, these links suck, and you go to those links and they don't exist. The whole website's gone. So there's way too many variables at this point to say, but other than the fact that this is probably one of those, let's hit it with a hammer because that makes more sense to us, examples.
I think that there's two processes at play. One is a human who looks at the recon and actually decide what goes in, what pieces go into the letter, right? And then there's the process where they actually process the links. Two are out of sync. That's my opinion, that one gets done before the other in an effort to get them done quicker.
But, a Webmaster tool should have a little does it suck box from now on. If you're going to be doing this, then give us a does it suck box. I can put this fucking URL in, and now it'll tell me, no, you don't want to go there, or yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
And so what, I'm vetting every journalist who talks to me now? And I have to vet their team and say, can you go check, make sure there's going to be a no follow on that, or that you might use the wrong text anchor, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now I'm supposed to do all this vetting and everything else, but I've got no guideline to truly vet them with. So,
Well, it's the same thing with Panda. I mean, Google has a list of things they don't like in articles, but they won't give us what that list is.
Sure they do. They list 22 points. And when Panda was released, they released those 22 points.
Okay.
And when you ask them, what should you be looking for, Panda, they point to those 22 points.
All right, so now let's take it a step further, though, Terry. Let's consider our friend that wrote for Search Engine Land that had targeted anchors in their bio, and ended up getting a manual action on their homepage, on their site, not because they were writing for Search Engine Land, because it was getting scraped with those set bios in it. So now let's go a step further with this Herald concept. What if you have vetted it, and it is a legit location, But again, you're not inserting the links. The writer, editor, whoever the hell is doing that, right? So they could be targeted anchors. They might be brand. Who knows? Not your job. You're just talking to a reporter. And because this place is popular, it gets scraped a whole bunch. So now you're getting links that could have targeted or brand anchors. In this case, they're brand anchors, so that's not even safe. Now you've got them in a bunch of crappy places because you embedded the original source.
So what you're saying is people aren't responsible for making sure that their content isn't published all over the fucking internet.
It's not their content.
They shouldn't have to protect their rights, copyright.
It's not that person's content. It's the reporter that they gave the interview to. I'm not going to track, if I give an interview to somebody, I'm not going to track every single instance of where that interview ends up. It's not mine. I made a comment, gave a quote, and moved on.
Yeah, but in the end, the guy said that Herald thing had nothing to do with it, so that's not really a good case to look at, is it?
Again, but the point being is anywhere that you're making connections with press or PR people or doing what used to be legitimate marketing, you know, how are you now? So again, this comes back to the proactive disavow, Terry. So now every time you do any PR or do any marketing or anybody links to you, you got to make sure they're not being scraped. You got to disavow all the sites that were scraping, on and on and on. You know, it's just becoming a bit of an issue. I don't know. Again, it still goes back to the just don't count the links concept.
Imagine that.
That fucking, you know, that's like rewarding stupidity. Sorry. I'll never go with that, Steve or Dave, because it rewards people for not finding out or not hiring professionals. Okay? Sorry. I'm a professional. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't be penalized because I don't do things that I know are not going to pass mustard 3 months from now. Okay? I should be rewarded for that, not penalized. And right now, I am penalized for that. It's a two-edged fucking sword. And I'm tired of the whining on the other side. It's like I'm not responsible. I can just come here and do what I wouldn't do in the outside world, right? But we're going to make a difference here. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you want the businesses to be treated the same as an offline business, then treat it like an offline business.
Well, I'm just going to, write a tool that spams the crap out of all my clients' competitors, and they can spend all their time doing disavows.
That's what it's going to come down to. If you're not anticipating that, you're not with it. You're just as complacent as the guy who's doing the spam. Sorry, I just don't believe that this stuff should be rewarded. That you should be rewarded for having knowledge and doing the right thing. You should be rewarded for that, not penalized. And
where
that's
else?
What it does. It rewards doing low-class, lower quality work. It rewards it and penalizes the better stuff.
All right, our next bit of fun. Out of Brighton SEO. So, a couple of ex-Googlers and a link builder debate the reality of SEO. Anyways, so the main one here, of course, for us today is going to be Google is using the disavow tool to crowdsource for bad links and domains. All right. So, yeah. So, of course, a lot of the Google haters came running out of the woodworks on Facebook groups and elsewhere saying that, haha, I told you so, Google's using it, this and that, and so on and so on. Upon further research, the Googler who said, okay, further to that, I think it was, I don't know, one of the guys that was actually in the session mentioned that the person actually said they'd be stupid not to, which insinuates that he didn't actually know. And secondly, when I checked out the guy who said it, his LinkedIn profile, he left Google in, I believe, June of 2013, about a month and a half before, of 2012, sorry, about a month and a half before the disavow tool came out. And from what I could tell, he never worked on the search quality or the web spam team. So, yeah.
So anybody who does anything at Google is now a authority on these.
Well, he's an SEO now.
So
consider the source.
let's go get a janitor to say these things, and it would probably mean the same thing to these people out here. He's a Googler.
I'm an ex-Googler. I worked in the plant. I washed mats. I used to scrub Matt Cuts' floors. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I think, I don't know, you know, obviously nothing I believe has really changed on that point. And as far as, I think if you had some mass amount of a domain, you know, like scraper domains and shit like that, that's, you know, we're in a high percentile or something like that, sure. You know, I could see them potentially using it as some kind of seed set to send the old bots by to check into it deeper. But, you know, just to say that people who have been writing, you know, those letters, Steve, that if you don't remove my link, I'm going to put you in my disavow, then you're fucked. You know, to say that kind of statement is true, I'm not so sure about that. You know, again, we're back to SEO, Google trusting SEO.
People. I'm amazed at how many of the link directory owners are charging for link removal now. That number keeps going up and up. Some of them have tiered pricing depending on how fast you want it removed.
I actually saw one, Steve, that had it right on the listing. If you want it removed, you click a link.
Yep.
It was to a PayPal thing to pay them.
Yeah. And the really smart guys are doing them for like $1, $2, $3 at the most. Because it's, for a lot of companies, it's just easier to pay the buck.
It's easier than writing the email. It costs you more to write the email than to take the pay the $3.
I guess on our crap lake things, Mark Traphagen was also saying here in the Q&A how hard it would be for Google to build in Penguin something that could recognize when links are coming from unpermitted scrapes of content that are legit sites. Blah, 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 blah.
They can't. Or they would have done that already, Dave.
Yeah.
Right? They would have fixed attribution a long time ago if they could figure that out.
Yeah, and the fact that, you know, it's not unknown for a spammer to cover up his tracks with a bunch of other stuff, so,
right.
You know, they could make it seem, you know, if you gave them a break on scrape stuff, again, it comes back to being proactive with your, you know, your links, disavows, and keeping an eye on shit, because, yeah, if they gave people a break for that, spammers would find that loophole and fucking use it.
But you got to remember, too, Dave, right, that a lot of this, you can look at it and think it's scrapers, and we saw where people were doing it to themselves yesterday.
Yep.
So,
yep, we did.
You know, be very careful about what you're doing, because sometimes a little thing gets extrapolated across many places. And next thing you know, you think you got scraped content, and you just made a little mistake.
All right, so okay, back to this disavow can get you fucked theory of if somebody too many people disavow you that you could be in trouble. You know, where are we on with this? Yes, yay or nay?
I'm gonna add this to the hope not category because it's too easy to game, just like a lot of the other things that Google's fighting. Because all it would take is, I mean, could you imagine getting a whole bunch of people together and just saying, nope, disavow this site? And I'm sure it's going to be used as a signal at some point, but it won't be a determining signal.
It'll be like finding a link in an email. That's the way I kind of look at it, Steve, something like that.
Right. It's more that big data thing. The more of the data they have, the more accurate it's going to be. But I just can't see them using this as a single source penalty.
Well, first of all, you have to look at who's deciding that they shouldn't be on that site, right? That is enough to scare anybody. I can imagine what a guy at Google thinks of the reviewing skills when he looks at what people are saying, oh, this is fine. They got to be shaking their heads, and I think that's what a lot of this is about. companies have not properly trained their people, right? They don't know good links. You know what they use to decide a link? PR was the main determining factor, and whether it was follow or no follow.
And that's Google's fault as well. Google never ever should have put that little green bar in their toolbar. All it did was encourage.
Given the exact same metrics, I passed them down, Steve. I ignored those metrics, right? Because I'm looking for traffic and sales.
Yeah, but Terry, that's not the way 99% of the world works. They're going to go, we need a link where it's a good, and Google says get a link from a good site. Google turned around and said, this site is a 6. That means it's better than a 5. Therefore, I will try to get a link there. That's how 90% of the world works.
That's what created the economy for links.
That's exactly what created this whole
anybody selling links for the last 10 fucking years was always, you get 10 PR3 links and 2 PR4 links. Like, they literally package it by that little green.
Exactly.
Part, so I'm just saying, right? It comes down to a game, right? I believe that, what people learn should be, and if you don't know and you follow bad advice, well, you should pay for it like you do in the real world. I mean,
yeah, I guess I'm just not as much of a hard ass as you are, Terry.
No, I'm not a hard ass. I want to be fucking compensated for my time and effort. That's all. And I don't think that I am fairly compensated now as a result of this nonsense.
Yeah, he's just looking for a raise, Steve. Come on.
Oh, he wants to get paid.
Well, no, I want the knowledge that we possess to be recognized, because now it isn't. Because of fools that run around saying the things they are right now. Okay? How can we have any kind of reputation as SEOs when we're running around saying the things we are right now?
Here's a secret. I don't have a reputation as an SEO, and I don't want one.
Well,
okay. Now we'll go on somewhere else. Never mind.
Yeah, no point.
Okay.
Dave's just having fun. He's just waiting for the big blow up.
Oh boy. Okay, now Terry, I will let you field this one because I'm gonna go and pour myself another tea. Anyways, yeah. Go ahead, Terry.
Why would anybody even take this for, even begin to believe something like that? Because they want to believe it. Right. That's the thing now. All this is just media feeding on the frenzy. Like the same with the guy from the NBA. It's all the same. It's the way media works. I find it, fucking mind-numbingly stupid.
We have this new saying down here in the States that some people will understand. It's not the accuracy of the allegation. It's the seriousness of the allegation.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's accurate or not. It's just very serious. Therefore, we need to jump all over it.
Right. Like, we don't even know, Steve, that wasn't all taken out of context, right?
Or just entirely made up.
Okay, yeah, there's that too. But, oh no. What he did was stupid, considering his own players won't play for him anymore. That was, got anything that happens to him, right? But if, as a landlord, I've been a landlord, you've been a landlord, I could say I might think similar things because of my experience.
Okay, I left on this thing and then came back to the NBA. What happened? Oh, where did we go, boys?
What are you talking? You talking about the NBA team owner that just got banned for life?
Is that what Steve was talking about? Terry was talking about?
Yeah.
I just got lost. I left on AdWords, came back to this.
Just the media in general, and the fact that this kind of stuff even gets talked about. Like I don't know, it's like it gives it respect that it doesn't deserve. this thing doesn't deserve to get shared because it's nonsense. But it's what SEOs want to believe. They want to believe these things. So people print them.
Well, if you believe those things, then it's real easy to go to your client and go, it's not me. It's Google.
Right. Same with, some of the things in that last one where the guy was talking about the morality, right? He said, you're taking all these people's jobs away. Yeah, well, when they took them out of the tops of the search, someone else went in there. And, I got to believe if the other guys were taken out because they were not following the rules, someone else got their jobs. The same thing would happen offline, right? Same thing would happen offline if they were, say, fudging what their product was. Same thing would happen offline. The client, the customers still want the stuff. They're going to go elsewhere.
I think that I don't think you can compare the offline world and the online world quite that way, because in the real world you don't lose your whole business based on a sudden sudden rule change or without an opportunity to fix the problem. I mean, if you were to go out and put up a non-conforming sign out in front of your store, the city or the county or the state or whatever is not going to come in and shut down your store entirely. Okay. They're going to come up to you and they're going to say, you can't do this. Here's what you need to fix. You've got 60 days to fix it.
Right. Here's a hypothetical.
That's not what happens on
a hypothetical. I'm going to give you a true life. Okay? In Canada, a few years back, the REITs in Canada, anything could become a REIT. If you had cash flow, you could pretty well become a REIT. Well, it was avoiding taxes. So one government was saying, oh, we're thinking about it. Another party said, no, we're never going to do this. When they got elected, one of the first things they did was take the REIT status away. I personally lost 30% of everything that I had in the market at the time. I wasn't happy about it, but that's the way business is. That's the risk you take.
And now for our weekly, Terry deals with a salesperson call.
Hello, Terry speaking.
Wait for it. There we go. Excellent.
It was Air Canada, for fuck's sakes. I haven't been on an airplane in probably 20 years. No longer than that, 25.
Well, that's just them wanting to find out why.
It would be Air Canada.
There's more of that inbound marketing, Terry.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I just got inbound marketed, Steve.
You did.
It's awesome.
Beautiful thing.
And that's how it works, folks. That's about as effective as it is.
All right, Steve, I saw you commenting, I think it was on a Facebook group on this one. You want to tell people about this one, and then we'll take it from there?
There was a recent article where Gareth Hoyle and them looked at how deeply indexed web directories are now compared to a few years ago. And surprise, surprise, there are fewer of them in the Google index than before, which would probably be because there's a lot fewer web directories now than there was before because so many of them have been taken down. That's one side of it. But the other side of it was, you get the generic blanket statement, all directories are bad. But that's not true. It's just like saying all babies are bad. No, just most of them. It just frustrates the hell out of me because everybody has taken this, what looks like the Google approach. It's an all or nothing. All guest blogging is now bad. All directories are bad. All articles are bad. All whatever is bad. And that's simply not the case because there are plenty of examples where there are great web directories out there that are still used. So,
and I'll be honest, Steve, you know what I mean? Over the years, to date, I've never disavowed or tried to get removed anything from like Jade or any of the big ones.
Right.
And Google has never come. We've always got the recons approved. I've never had them come back as one of the examples. It's always the low quality, bottom tier kind of stuff. But yeah, I've any of the big name ones, you know, like Joe Ant, remember all those kind of things?
Yep.
Yeah.
I never disavow any of that stuff.
No. And then you have your very niche specific directories that, you know, only focus on one product type or, you know, one very specific thing. Those all still have value because people actually still go to those. So.
Yeah. I actually, on the hangout we did with Darren Steve, I actually asked him about that I was coming across all these little directories that I could tell they were done for local SEO, right? They're niche directories for a geo target, but all that stuff is being just grouped in with all the rest in like all directories are bad, all news articles are bad,
right.
All guest blog. Like, why is it so?
But isn't that still the hammer and nail problem, Terry?
Yeah.
It's just inverse now. That you know when you get rid of links, just hit them all. You know.
No, it's that it's easier to just not have to make the decision and just say they're all bad. The only problem with that is you remove every technique you have for getting links. Because if you follow Google now, there isn't a technique that they haven't said you shouldn't do that. Because
it all comes out of the premise now of if you created it or you had any hand in it, I guess now,
right.
Steve, isn't it? You know, I wrote an article, people linked to it. Your fault for writing it, pal.
One thing that I think of a website, even if you were guest blogging there, if it's got good traffic, right, and you actually see traffic coming to your website, I wouldn't sweat it because Google knows that. Google knows that you're getting traffic from those websites.
Assuming you have Google Analytics installed on your websites.
No, assuming that people searched on Google. Remember, every site that they go to after that, it gets collected through Google, through ads, all kinds of stuff. So there's lots of ways that they know who clicked what and where they went.
Well, that really sucks for those sites that I go straight to porn after I go to their website.
Yeah, not good.
Careful, Steve. It's a new negative SEO approach. Search people's sites, go there, then go right to the porn.
Right.
But yeah, I guess it's still at the end of the day, people still got to use your bloody brains to know what's good and bad.
Well, that's the point I was trying to make earlier, Dave, that there is no real incentive to gain knowledge, to learn. There is no incentive.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, again, so yeah, I saw you going off of that one, Steve. So I thought I'd put it up for you today. But it's like everything, you know, you got to know where to go, where not to. It's like, yeah, I don't know, isn't it like knowing the good and bad neighborhood in town when you live in a big city?
But see, even that becomes a very subjective issue based on your personal experience, because what I might consider a bad neighborhood might be perfectly normal for Terry.
Or even stick to the directory, even stick to the directory angle, Steve, in that, you know, we've also seen grandfathered stuff, meaning you didn't give me any problems through Two Penguins about this one directory. Yeah. I didn't get any manuals for it, but then this year you decided to change your mind, and now
you decided that this directory is no good. It's like, well, what changed other than your philosophy behind that particular website? And that's dishonest on an intellectual level. That's just not cool, man.
And again, you know, we've said it a long time that it just, if you're going to make that change, then just stop counting that link or devalue that link or whatever. Don't penalize people for you changing your mind.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like that. It's like high school all over again. You have one bad date, and now you can't get a date from anybody.
Is that what happened, Steve? I'm sorry to hear that. But you had any dates?
I had fun.
All That was a
Well, then
bookworm.
you
That
go to
wasn't cool.
college and you get to start all over, right, Steve?
Yeah, switch schools.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go, folks. Directories, just like everything else, you gotta know what you're doing. Have a brain. I know Mark was hanging around for the whole G plus death thing. I might actually do that on Friday for a more extended bit, so I'm gonna hold off on that. Oh, okay. For our giggles of the week, why not? We'll go here. I like a good laugh. This is Marketing Profs, which had a. Where was their little chart? Oh, here it is. One of the most effective SEO tactics that your company uses to achieve objectives. Quality content creation is number 1. Keyword research and management number 2. Who'd they interview? How? Anyways. Frequent website updating. Ah, yes, what's that, Steve? Take the old articles, put new dates on them? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Social media integration. All right. Frequent blogging. Apparently, it doesn't. That's separate from quality content.
and frequent updating.
Yeah, because that's totally different. And link building apparently only 25%. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Why do I have problems with this little graph?
Was this a survey of famous and popular SEOs, or?
Oh wait, actually I got it here. At least they put that. Key findings report was based on a survey of 442 marketing and sales professionals around the world.
Yeah, that's who I want to ask. Sales guy.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm going to guess that most of those numbers then fit directly with what those sales guys were selling.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have it up for the people watching here. Yeah, that's how he's selling his packages. You need lots of it. Yeah. So apparently, local and mobile are at the bottom of the pack. Yeah, that's kind of funny with the frequent website updating, quality content, but frequent blogging is neither of those. Wow. Let's see, most difficult SEO tactics. Quality content creation is perceived to be both highly effective but very difficult to do well. 47% of respondents say it was one of the most difficult SEO tactics to execute. Because it's content. You should maybe have, like, I don't know, writers or something instead of giving it to the SEOs.
But, creating quality, accurate content is hard.
Oh, it should be, though. At least anything that's going to do well. You can't just slap it out there, man.
The problem is getting somebody to commit and justify a long-term commitment to building real quality content, because for a lot of businesses,
it's not viable, man.
A lot of money to be throwing down a hole in the hopes that it gets picked up and in the hopes that it works.
And in the hopes that it builds a following that'll procreate the rest of it down the road. Yeah, I hear you on that. That's the problem with a lot of smaller businesses is, you try telling them your utopian view of how SEO should be done, and, well, they can't afford to keep doing that, or even if they're doing it themselves. They got to run their business, as you're always a fan of saying,
Yeah.
Time to do that, and if they can't afford the time, then they got to pay someone, which, you come full circle again.
It's the same thing with graphics. I mean, every aspect of being on the web is that way. Graphic design's another one where I've got a copy, a 7-year-old copy of Herald draw. I can hang out my own graphic.
44% viewed link building as being highly difficult to execute. I guess that's part of the same 47 that didn't know how to build content, or did it for stupid.
Yeah, isn't it funny how those two numbers are so?
They line up pretty good, don't they, Terry?
Yeah.
Link building's hard. Let's go shopping.
To do this link building stuff? What do you mean?
And let's see what we got at the end there. It's Other challenging tactics include frequent blogging, 32%, is amongst the most difficult. Keyword research, 29%, and frequent website updating, 29%.
Here's a trick for the people who have very limited budgets. Don't waste your time doing keyword research. Jesus Christ, what's going on at your house, Dave?
Oh, sorry, man.
If you have a very limited budget, don't worry about the keyword research. Write about what your business does. That's all you need to do.
Keyword research. How often do you need to do that?
Once.
That's what I would say. After that, the list may change a little, but the priorities don't.
That's why we've, when we have clients doing their own work, we guide them, and they say, "Oh, what keyword should I focus on?" I don't care. Focus on whatever it is your business does. The keywords will sort themselves out all by themselves. Well, I really want to rank for this one word. Why? Other than being a vanity word that you want to rank for, what good is that going to do you? Well, if I rank #1 for shoes, I'm going to make millions. I say, yeah, and it'll never happen, so stop trying.
Yeah, Payless may have something to say about that.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, is people don't even know.
You remember?
Using.
You remember I want to rank for SUV?
Yeah. Again, or I want to rank #1 for Ford Taurus. Well, yeah, but you're a used car site. Well,
Yeah.
I still want to rank #1 for Ford Taurus.
We already ranked #3 for used Ford Taurus. Is that okay? No. I want Ford Taurus. Yeah, but Ford's actually got 3 websites and subdomains that are ranked. Well, that's okay. We'll get them.
Well, plus they are Ford, and it is a Taurus.
Crack open that checkbook. Let's get going.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. Let's fight the good fight. I like it when we target vanity terms.
Yeah, I love those. You're talking to the marketing director, and you're like, "Why do we want this?" I don't know. The guys above me want it, so we got to chase it. It's like, well, no, that's not a fucking answer, dude.
Sure it is. Write the check.
Yeah, that's another 10 grand a month. Thank you. Send it along.
And don't forget this clause in the contract that says we don't guarantee rankings.
What are the most difficult SEO tactics to execute? Pretty much almost the same again.
None of them. If you do anything with the hopes of ranking better in Google, you violated the Google guidelines.
So they're all difficult.
Forbid you actually do something to just make sales. I mean, that would be contrary to everything that they know.
Yeah, but anybody in retail knows you can't make sales if the customers don't come through the door.
That would, yeah, well.
Next, we have what are the most useful metrics for tracking and analyzing SEO performance? Rankings. Rankings is #1. Conversions is just, it's tied actually. Well, there you go. Boy, yeah, because conversions aren't nearly as important as some rank checking tool, right?
Yeah. You increase your keyword ranking by 10%. I'll increase my conversions by 10%. We'll see who wins.
Well, it depends which rankings you increase, for one thing.
Well, the next one's traffic visits by keyword. When was this thing written? Before they're not provided? Like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
What year did you interview these people, man? Wow. Total website traffic visits, traffic visit by source, visit duration and engagement. And backlinks is at the bottom. Wait a minute. If backlinks are so hard to get, why wouldn't you want that to be a performance, meaning a natural links? Don't know. Interesting. They do anything else in this thing? Oh, good God. Challenging obstacle. Most challenging obstacles, there we go. Limited SEO budget. Yeah, that would be one. Limited SEO skills. There you go, Terry. You're in at number 2. Not you personally, but the whole skills thing, right? So apparently they can't find any talent. Understanding search algorithms. Hey, I'm in at number 3. Wow. Yeah, so there you go, Steve. You got first, and Terry got the silver. I got the bronze. Lack of effective strategy.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah, you'd think that could be the problem with number 1, 2, and 3 on the one.
Number 4 is just piss poor on their part. If you don't know where your sales are coming from, you've got an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, yeah.
That's probably because you're looking at rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes back to that last one.
Identifying new keywords. Fuck. Have you looked at a website that gets only 3,000 or 4,000 visits a month? You're lucky if you get into double digits on a lot of your pages, as far as the keywords go.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. Like, how is keyword research any good at that level? Like, that alone should be telling people something.
Well, it's like the optimizing content with keywords one. Again, like Steve was saying, you know, if you're writing naturally about a topic, about anything, it's just going to flow out and happen. Stop thinking about it. It's half your goddamn problem.
And that's probably the best way to write now is conversational because of
It always
hummingbird. But it always has been. I agree with Steve. But yeah, you know, which goes back to, I guess, number 3 on the algorithms thing is people aren't getting it again. You know, that natural language processing is what they're trying to do. So, hey, write with your natural language abilities.
But how many of us have even cared about that up until the last 6 months, right? Because there was no need to. All they had to do was what? Build links. So that is SEO to them. The rest of it is all foreign.
But then you get, I mean, yeah, it's not really an excuse, but you get how many emails a day? We can help your website rank better by doing, you know, these emails they're more common than ever. And so then you wind up, well, why aren't we doing this? Well, because, you know, they suck. If they didn't suck, they wouldn't be emailing you looking for work.
Yeah, because it doesn't work. That's why they're looking for work.
And Mark's back again with you. Number 1, a couple back should have been lack of understanding of SEO, which is, yeah, I think it goes back to your thing. SEO is just links, right, Terry? For how many years now? It still kills me. You know, again, Steve, you know me with on-site stuff. That I still am hard pressed to find an article these days ever that talks about on-site implications and stuff like that. Hey, Terry, you and I were looking at systemic issues with a website yesterday. We're doing some, you know, off-the-cuff audit work, and there was just CMS issues, like, you know what I mean? Like, Steve, in one instance, it looks like the CMS is populating the meta description tag with, like, the first 2 sentences from an article. So every time they were going out on social, Facebook, wherever, bingo, the first 2 sentences were there, and it was literally getting out ranked by Facebook.
Content all over the web.
Yeah. I read something just yesterday, the day before, where the new hot thing in SEO was internal linking.
Really? That's a thing?
I was shocked. I had no idea that internal linking was.
You mean you need a website, Steve? You need a website? Oh, Jesus, I thought you just built links into this nonsense page I got up and I made lots of money.
You get the
well, it's interesting, Steve, too, because in Google Webmaster Tools, there's actually a little section that shows you how many internal links you got to each page. It's weird.
Wow. So those guys with the single-page VSL probably aren't going to do real well.
Or how about those never-ending parallax scrolling pages now?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the infinite website. It drives me crazy, especially when you're trying to get to that footer link.
You have to scroll to the end of the website to get that, eh, Steve?
It just keeps loading every time you scroll, man.
Just about the time you think you could click on their Contact Us button link, it expands again, and off you're back to the races, trying to catch up to it. Yeah, and yes, I have seen websites that do that. It's hysterical. It's like, how in the hell is anybody supposed to contact you when your contact us button keeps running away? It was pretty.
And no, Mark, you didn't watch this show for nothing. But anyways, yeah, Mark, I'll talk to you after. Actually, just got to do something on Friday on that. I want to expand on it. All right, gentlemen, 12 o'clock. We're there. We're at the top of the hour. We survived and made it again. I don't think we have anything to add to this entertaining hour, do we?
No.
Well, except for, you know, yeah, let's see. Tomorrow, Terry, we've got Forensic SEO and Recovery Hangouts.
Yeah.
1 p.m. Eastern. Go by the Dojo channel on Facebook or Google Plus or wherever you know where to find us. If you don't, there's a search thing. You can probably find us.
Yep. We're going to have Dan and who else on that show?
Mr. Hot Dom, the Dominator.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Dom's going to be on.
From Link Risk.
That's Link Risk for anybody who's
not in the know. And then next Thursday is the Grumpy Old Shits of SEO. And Steve, you're welcome to join us. We've got a couple seats left.
I'm not grumpy.
Well, you qualified for the old then. How's that? We'll go with that. And I guess, yeah, who we got there? We got Deborah Mistaller, Ray Hoffman, Lauren Baker, Todd Friesen, Dan Thies, Terry, me. I think that's it at the moment. Something like that.
I think you listed them all there, Dave.
Hey, I'm getting good at that. All right, so that'll be good as well, folks. And that's about it. Until next time, have fun. We'll see you next week, and stay tuned for more. Gentlemen?
Go make lots of money, building them, and disavowing them.
Well, no, you just need a partner. You build them and pass me secretly the list, and then I'll, you know, once they're penalized, I'll come and say that bastard and all this.
Well, or we just build a tool to manage all that stuff.
All right, guys. See you next week.